Hey guys, today we will be looking at a list I've been running post the release of Zendikar Return to Zendikar. I don't know what they're calling it. Zendikar 3, Zendikar the Third, Happily Ever After. I don't know. The third time, I'm getting sick of Zendikar to be honest. It was fun the first time, it was whatever the second time. Third time, come up with some new ideas. The third time at Ravnica was okay, but like come on, Zendikar. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, enough of me ranting about Zendikar. This is the list I've been running online. I have been doing very well with it. At one point, I was on a 14 game win streak. I was one game away from getting three 5-0s in a row, which tells me, I mean, I've never had that much of a win streak ever playing this deck online. But I was on the cusp of getting three 5-0s in a row, which felt very good. However, I failed that. Got a 4-1, got another 4-1, then got another 5-0, which tells me that, hey, this is running pretty good. I should probably do something about this. What was my thinking on this? We last video had two firestorms, which were sort of in the flex slots, kinda the flex slots. The firestorms were great. The firestorms were really good. I was enjoying the firestorms, but with Zendikar, whatever, I don't know what it's called, coming out, they have added these new spell lands. And what do the spell lands encourage people to do? They encourage people to play Charbelcher, they encourage people to play Oops or Spells, they encourage people to do degenerate nonsense. They've added new landfall stuff, people are playing lands. With that Valakut card, the Valakut Exploration, is that it? The one that exiles the top two cards. It's really good actually, it's a really good card in lands, but people are playing lots of lands. So I thought, you know what, when people are trying to combo you, it's generally pretty good to have something in the main deck. And moving Ashen Rider to the main deck made a lot of sense, as like an out to getting ensnaring bridged, playing against lands, glacial chasm locking you. People that like to advocate playing bag cards in the sideboard, like Terror of the Peaks, will tell you that you don't need Ashen Rider because no one plays Glacial Chasm anymore. It's not a card that's played in lands. Everybody's moved off of it. No one's running it. Well, I've had people Glacial Chasm me a lot recently online, not even in paper, where people don't update their list for 3 years because they're like, why not? I only play one time a week. I'm just going to play the same list that I've always played. And they're playing silly cards from like 3 years ago. Like, I don't know, what were people playing like 3 years ago? Collected Company, was that card people played 3 years ago? I don't know. But you'll get chasmed and you'll lose because you've got Terror of the Peak, so you want to run Ashen Rider. Ashen Rider's a sick card. Also, Ashen Rider's a sick card because you can just laugh at show and tell players if you happen to have it in your hand game one. That's always really funny. They don't expect you to have it in game one. In fact, no one expects you to have it in game one. It's a good out to Peacekeeper from Espervile. Espervile players like to think they're really smart because they play cards that decks can't out. Instead of actually playing a good deck, they just play like meme cards that they think people can't out. So in order to beat them, you just play cards that out their meme cards, and then they're like, oh no, I'm playing really bad D&T with a terrible mana base, and I'm playing Brainstorms with no ponders, and so you play Ashen Rider and you laugh at them when they try and Peacekeeper you. You run around just like double stone raining people, and you win every game. It seems ridiculous right now. Ashen Rider, people are just not expecting it from Dredge main deck. Ashen Rider main deck's always something that we can do. The main reason that we don't do it is because they're basically two brick cards, right? It's like adding two more Narcomoebas. They're two cards that you never want to draw in your opening hand ever. They're just terrible cards. So the more natural thing would be have the Ox of Agonis in the main deck, but as I said, the reason for the Ashen Riders, specifically to try and counteract these sort of combo decks, and also to try and deal with lands as well, and just be an all-round general good card, and it's been running really well. So that's the main deck, Ashen Whiteout and Dread Return. In the sideboard, what have we got? We've got the Ley Lines. I always run 3 Ley Line of the Void because I'm greedy. I run 2 Ley Line of Sanctity because I find the sideboard works well with 2. Lots of people I've seen run 3. On to the fact that everybody's trying to belch you, everybody's trying to oops or spells you. There's Dread Return and Iona in the sideboard. So if I just sort of mess around post board versus decks like oops or spells and Belcher, the Rider comes out, and then you bring in the Dread Return, and you bring in the Ox, and you bring in the Iona, and you bring in the Lotus Petal. And if you're playing against oops, you even bring in the Ley Line of the Voids, and then sideboarding gets really messy. Actually, if you're playing against Belcher, I'd probably do that as well, yeah, because I don't want to get echoed. And then you go, I've got to side out like 6 cards. What do? I side out 3 Putrid Imps. Side out Ichorid. Maybe I even take the Petals out in those matchups just to try and do something like that. Yeah, that's probably what I'd do. Although maybe I'd take out a Gemstone Mine and bring a Petal in, and then I'd be like super greedy because I just want to go fast. That's probably what I'd do. Probably what I'd do. Oh, I've completely messed the deck up by doing that. I am a silly man. Okay. Deck has been unscrewed up, so I can go back to talking about what I was doing. But yeah, I just go like super duper aggressive. I cut down on Ichorids. I keep Hogak in over Ichorid. The reason I do that is because yes, it can be awkward, but when you're trying to go fast, the most important card, like super quick, the most important card's Narcomoeba. And then if you end up in a situation where you hit 2 Narcomoebas and like, say for example you hit 1 Narcomoeba and 2 Bridges and a Therapy, and then you hit Dread Return and you hit Iona, you can Dread Return by sacrificing that and using the Hogak, whereas if it's an Ichorid you can't do that. It just makes it easier, because if you end up in it, you either need to hit 3 Narcomoebas and any number of Bridges in order to Dread Return, provided you have the Dread Return in the graveyard and the target, obviously. You need to hit 3 Narcomoebas, or you need to hit 2 Narcomoebas and 2 Bridges, or 1 Narcomoeba and 3 Bridges. However, in the case of 1 Narcomoeba and 3 Bridges and 2 Narcomoebas and 2 Bridges, you can get away, if you have a Hogak in your graveyard, with having 1 Narcomoeba and 2 Bridges, or 2 Narcomoebas, 2 Therapies and 1 Bridge. And that actually means that you can Dread Return in spots where you otherwise couldn't, because you've got the Hogak in, which is the reason why I'm willing to go down to 2 Ichorids, because it helps you Dread Return a turn faster, which is often all that matters against the decks. Those decks, because if you blame if you name Iona on black against oops or spells, or you name Iona on red against Belcher, they generally can't win. Also, Iona on blue against Doomsday is completely GG, which is the reason why I'm running Iona and not Archon of Valor's Reach. I see people still running Archon of Valor's Reach. List that I top aided the super qualifier with. They'll play that list and they'll just copy it, and they won't realise that that was a list for when companions were legal and Lurrus was everywhere and Zerda was legal and Garuda were legal, and against both those decks, Archon of Valor's Reach is a better card. But against what we're dealing with now, which is like Show and Tell, which is like Doomsday, which is like Belcher, which is like Oops, Iona's a better card, right? Of course, against Doomsday, Iona's just like the best card ever. Iona on blue. I don't think Doomsday even has an out to Iona on blue. Certainly nothing that they'd leave in against Dredge post board. All of the things that I think that they can have that would out Iona would be like a blue card that bounces Iona. They have literally no cards that beat Iona. So Iona's just really good right now. Oko's been feeling kind of bad recently. I've considered cutting him from the sideboard. I feel like the meta's somewhat adapted to like Oko. Like all of the decks that are just like completely soft to Oko have just sort of fallen out of the meta, and the decks that are left, they have to have answers to Oko, right? Like, they've got cards that can deal with it. I'm not saying Oko's bad. It can still win you games. It can still win you games very easily. It's a very strong card, but it's felt one of the weaker cards in the sideboard recently. I'm not quite at the point of cutting it, but if I needed an extra slot, he'd probably be the card to go. Also, with the shift to the Oxyvagonus to the sideboard, he's sort of felt like a better sideboard card in the matchups in a lot of ways. Oxyvagonus is very good against the control decks as a sideboard card, which was something I talked about in the last video. It makes slightly more sense in the sideboard to me. Then we have Leyline Answers, 3 Nature's Claims, 1 Stern Dismissal, which is a reader of a card. I might have to read that because people might not know. Return target creature or enchantment an opponent controls to its owner's hand from Theros Beyond Death. And Serenity. So let's start with the elephant in the room. Why Stern Dismissal? This is a very specific card. It is for the Turbo Depths matchup where they bring in Leylines. As I mentioned in the last video, Turbo Depths Negator 77 sideboard guide has 2 Leyline of the Void and 2 Surgical Extraction in the sideboard. In my last video I was running 2 Chain of Vapors. I was getting annoyed at having 2 Chain of Vapors and also people being able to replay their Leylines, so I went down to 1 bounce effect. Well, actually I cut one of the bounce effects for the Serenity, which I'll discuss in a second, but I swapped from Chain of Vapor for Stern Dismissal because there's a lot of Hogak in the meta right now. Also Dredge as well, there's a decent amount of Dredge, but mostly Hogak. Hogak's very popular because it's one of the best decks against Rug Delver. So you play in any serious event, you'll be playing against some Hogak. They side in Leylines and Leyline Answers. Basically, we both do the same thing in the sideboard. We bring in our Leylines and our Leyline Answers, and we play this weird game. If you have Chain of Vapor, if you have Leyline, they have Leyline, you cast Chain of Vapor, they can sack a land, copy it, bounce your Leyline, and it's really bad for you. Stern Dismissal, they can't do that while it still outs Leyline and Merit Lage from Turbo Depths. I think this card is garbage. I think this card's awful. I think this card in 99% of the situations is just worse than Chain of Vapor, and you should be running Chain of Vapor. However, right now, because there's a lot of Hogak and because Turbo Depths is sideboarding Leyline of the Voids, this is the card that outs. It is the only card that outs Merit Lage without also risking our Leylines getting bounced back in awkward situations. 3 Nature's Claims. I've cut all Wispmares from the sideboard. The reason for that is the Leyline decks in the meta right now are like Elves and Hogak and other decks that do not have Chalice. Chalice decks have really changed. The Chalice decks that you'll play against are things like the Primeval Titan deck, though that one sometimes has a Leyline, not always. Often it has a Leyline, but they can't easily turn 1 Chalice plus Leyline you. Or decks like Echo Stompy is the main Chalice deck. Echo Stompy is like easily the biggest, the one with the Karns and the Emrys and the Urza, the Urza Stompy, Echo Stompy, whatever it's called. That deck doesn't run Leylines. That's probably the scariest Chalice deck, the most popular Chalice deck. And all of the Leyline decks are decks that aren't running Chalice. So the sort of overlap that used to be there, and that almost every Chalice deck was also a Leyline deck's not true anymore. Most Leyline decks that you'll play against aren't Chalice decks. Most Chalice decks aren't Leyline decks anymore. So because of that, we've got 3 Nature's Claim, which is just the cleanest answer there is. And 1 Serenity. The Serenity is a sideboard card I'm testing for versus the Echo Urza Emry Stompy sideboard. It's just like you put one in your deck and like they'll go off and they'll wheel you and they'll shuffle your sideboard in, they'll shuffle your graveyard in, and then they'll give you a new 7, and then if you just draw Serenity, that basically wipes their whole board. Well, that's the idea at least. I've not had it happen yet, but that's the theory behind it. I'm testing it out. So far, it's been not the best. I do not especially like the card, however it does out double Leyline. Personally, I think it's kind of a bad card, but there's definitely spots where it's really good. Obviously, it's a really good card against Moon Stompy. It's an insane card, provided you can cast it, which is the other big thing, getting to 2 mana. That's the main reason I don't like it in the post-London Mulligan world. The premium is on quick interaction, and I prefer the 1 mana answers like Wispmare and like Nature's Claim. But that's the reason why it's there. We're testing it out. Hopefully we can see if that's any good. We played against Echo Stompy like twice in the last league I did, I think. Yeah, that's basically the list. It's a pretty long explanation, but hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. It's a bit crazy. I called it my dumb Belcher counter deck because it was designed to try and beat Belcher players. And yeah, try it out in the league, see how it goes. Hopefully we do well. We are against Russian Ranger. I don't think I've ever played against Russian Ranger, and this is not a keepable hand. Action Word is showing why it's an absolute terrible card. And this is the nuts, right? This is the actual nuts. Not like the full-blown nuts, but like pretty much the nuts. Bottoming the Icarid and bottoming the Hogak are like, obviously you bottom Hogak, you've only got 1 Hogak in the deck, but you bottom Icarid, you've only got 2 Icarids left in the deck. In this sort of situation, I've often been bottoming the Icarid, but maybe it's wrong. I don't really know. Well, Forest Pass. I mean, it could be a crop rotation deck, but I'm not gonna just Forest Pass, like not even anything else, unless he searched me up. Like, I feel like that's not a thing that you keep. That's not a thing you keep. Not a thing you keep blind. I'm just gonna go for it. Maybe we get blown out here. Hopefully we don't. That would really suck. Okay, we're getting blown out. We're getting blown out. He should not have done that then though. That was bad timing by him, but whatever. Okay, well I mean, that's frustrating. Maybe we should have played around it there, because Forest, like, what else is he holding up? But like, I don't know, man. I don't know, unless he knows what I'm on. But that really sucks. Maybe there are things we could have done to make that less painful if that happens. Like, we could have I don't know. I don't know. Like, we could have done Breakthrough X's 1 there. That might have been less painful. But I don't know, man. That's rough. We lost our Ashen Rider and our Dread Return as well. You've only got 1 Icarid that's not on the bottom of the deck. But, I mean, we'd have that anyway. Yeah, we're in a sort of bad spot because they've reached the point where they can just wasteland their bog, and then boggers again. Like, yeah, if we therapy ourselves now, they just wasteland bog, lone bog, cast bog. I don't know. I don't know. Like, we could have played around that, but I really don't think blind. Like, I've never played against this guy. Maybe he just knows what I'm on, man. Maybe we just got unlucky. He just had a hand that was all it did. But I mean, we saw he had Grove of the Burnwillow. Surely he'd lead with that rather than Forest. Maybe he just knew. Maybe he just knew. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to... Yeah, we got lucky, right? We've got half of what we need to potentially get ourselves out of this. We needed a Lion's Eye Diamond. And we also need a... What is he copying? A forest. Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna needle your forest, so... okay, that sucks. He's hit Dark Depths. We need to draw a land this turn or we're dead. Not a land, sorry, a draw spell this turn or we're dead. Even then we might still be dead because he might have Punishing Fire in hand. That's not going to do it. Oh wait, we are on 23 life, so we're not exactly dead just yet. Because he's been giving us some life, so maybe this gives us a chance. Oof, there's 2 Punishing Fires though, that's an ouch. That makes things much harder. And that's not going to do it. However, before I die, I am going to therapy them and see if they're playing anything spicy. It looks like normal lands. Nothing especially abnormal there, we just scoop. So that was frustrating. We will bring in the Leyline of Sanctities, obviously. Take out the Careful Studies. I often take out a Gemstone Mine for a Lotus Petal because they're both mana sources that aren't permanent, but this one is generally more useful. And actually I've been taking out a Thug for a Dread Return. Just because I find 2 Dread Returns are quite useful when you have them. Even with just Ashen Rider as the only target, just having that is good. But maybe taking out a Thug's bad. I'm very opposed to lowering the Dredge account post-board. I feel like it often hurts you more than it helps you, but given we're keeping the black count relatively high but not signing out any Putridums, it's probably okay. This is just bananas. We've got the white Leyline, which is pretty much GG. The only way that I see that we realistically lose this is if we either he's running like Leyline or Surgical or something, or we get wastelanded and we do not draw a second land off of this looting. Those are the main 2 ways I see we lose this game. But generally, when you open with a white Leyline against lands, they do not have very many good answers at all to white Leyline. Unlike against depths, where they can just kill you quite easily, lands is a lot slower, and opening Okay, so they have the Wasteland because they're gold gamers, but we are also gold gamers because we drew a second land. So take that, loser. Haha. Hopefully we don't brick on blah, 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 blah. We don't brick on dredges because that would suck a lot. Or more depressingly, we hit a dread return and we have to ask ourselves, was that the one we sided out a thug for? Nope, we had a grave troll and a thug, which is just excellent. Most excellent. Chances of us bricking now are really quite low. Also, the other good thing about having a second dread return against lands is when you've got just the one, you have to be very conservative with it and be very careful that you do not accidentally put yourself in a situation where they can just beat you if you happen to if they happen to top deck like a crop rotation to grab what's the card? Tabernacle. Or they top deck like an exploration or something, and then they're able to wasteland their own bog and then replay bog or something. It's just makes things a lot easier having the second dread return. So for example, I wouldn't have felt happy doing that because I'd be like, what if he just goes tabernacle? What if he has a tabernacle in hand and then has something else? I don't know. I'd feel uneasy bringing it back just then. But to be honest, in this situation, I'd probably just bring it back anyway. But yeah, like look, right? He's just bounced our Hogak, and he's just fetched a Tabernacle, so he's going to wipe our board. We've got obviously the Ashen Red is going to die, but then what happens if he has some follow up that we do not like Chasm, for example? Like this is fine. He can't Chasm us right now because we are in a situation where he's got no other lands, so he can't chasm us if he wanted to. But imagine he hypothetically could. That would be bad for us. Because we've just used our only dread return, and we've got no way to beat Chasm now. And Chasm's a real thing, as I said before. Like these people do play Chasm. It's not some card that's just like it's nice to pretend that no one plays Chasm. Don't worry about it. But like you'll lose to Chasm. You'll play against someone with a Chasm in their deck. It's not like some fringe card that no one plays. It's like a real card that lots of land players play because it's really powerful. And just pretending, oh, I don't need to worry about that because, like, lol, no one plays Chasm, I think is honestly a bit stupid. So we've got the Ashen Rider and the second dread return now, and I mean we could bring it back, but we don't really need it right now. Like I'm just gonna therapy them. I don't even know what card I care about them having. Like Exploration's probably the scariest, but I don't think they have it. Yeah. Right, they're just dead. When you play against lands on the play, you can take out Putrid Imps and bring in Careful Studies and just try and turn one them before they have a turn. And just take Crop Rotation out of their hand. That's a thing you can do on the play. But overall, I prefer like the number of hands where you have Lion's Eye Diamond plus Careful Study. Are not enough, in my opinion, to justify that. I'm actually going to keep this, I think, because if we draw any gold land, this hand's good because we've got Putrid Imp. Or any Lion's Eye Diamond because we've got Cephalic Colosseum, or any blue draw spell. Plus we've got the Leyline of Sanctity, which, as we saw in that previous game, is just a complete premium in this matchup. It can very easily just win the game on its own. Right, look, this man's clearly a man with a crop rotation in his hand. Like, no one goes Grove of the Burn Willows Pass. Oh, he's a true gamer. He sided in Force of Vigor. That's another thing you'll see people do if you get them with Leyline of Sanctity. They'll bring in Force of Vigor, and it's like, okay, fine. You can do that. If you want, I guess. So we didn't draw a second land or any of those cards which I said were outs, which were like basically half our deck, right? Even a breakthrough would have been fine. So that was like 20 cards, I think, exactly. So 1/3 of our deck, we didn't get it in 2 draws. It's not like massive odds, but like it's like 50-50. I'm just going to slow dredge here. We don't need to be explosive, I don't think. I'm quite happy just trying to force them to pop bog rather than trying to go explosive. End step, I'm going to discard a Thug because I want something to feed the Ichorid. And if they bog us now, or bog us in our upkeep, we'll get a draw, and we won't be able to draw something to cast Putrid Imp, which is the reason I am doing that. It looks like they don't have a crop rotation, or if they do, they're sandbagging it, which I mean is fine by us. We're quite happy for them to sandbag crop rotations. I'm leaving the Colosseum in hand because it gives us a mana, potentially, if they get Tabernacle. I'm going to discard Therapy here because we've got a food for the Ichorid. But the way they're playing makes me think they don't have crop rotation. I mean, if he's happy playing this game, I'm quite happy playing this game. Like, eventually I'll hit Hogak, or I'll hit a second Ichorid, and then he won't be able to do anything. Do I just name crop rotation here? I really don't think they have it, but I don't really see any reason not to do this, so I will do it. But I don't think they have it. Yeah, didn't think they did. But it's just like an extra damage. I mean, it means that it's bad because they can potentially Punishing Fire us twice, right? But they've only got 1 Punishing Fire, so they have to Grove, hit us, Grove, hit us, but then they're still taking 3 from Ichorid, so... Elvish Reclaimer really sucks. That is a card we do not want to see. Yeah, that's like a terrible draw for us. Yeah, that's like a terrible top deck for them to have, because it can fetch it doesn't just bog us, right? Because if it was a crop rotation, it would be fine. They'd just bog us, and then we just discard a Dredge to the end of turn, and we keep going on our way. The fact that it's Elvish Reclaimer means they can bog us, and then next turn they get Tabernacle, and then the turn after that they get Dark Depths, and then they just win the game with the Thespian stage. So I need to think, what's the way to actually win this game? And I think the way to win this game is actually to take a natural draw, right? I mean, the other way is that we get lucky and we high roll a Hogak off the top. It's close. I'm gonna take a natural draw though, because I think potentially top decking breakthroughs a better way to win this game than Hogak, because I mean, even if we get Hogak, which is not guaranteed, he can still fetch Karakas. Yeah. Okay, so that's not terrible. But yeah, I think, I mean, we could have won game one if we played it differently. We played into crop rotation knowing that if they had it we'd probably lose there, but maybe we were correct to play around it. Oh, and he just top decks Bajuka Bog as well. Okay, wow. That really sucks. Jesus. Wow, those were two insanely good top decks. And now he gets Tabernacle. And we are just very much screwed. The thing is, we can't even like slow dredge here, because like he's got loam and bog in graveyard, right? So he can just dredge back loam, boggers again next turn. I'm inclined just to scoop this game. I don't think we're winning it, but maybe we can high roll a breakthrough off the top. So, oh shit, I should have discarded those two Stinkweed Imps if that was the line. I did not think. That was really bad. I should have done that though. And it wasn't anyway. I don't know. But we are not winning this game. Maybe we should have just seen Forest Past and been like, okay, yeah, they got crop rotation in hand. Like, why else would they go Forest Past? But I don't know. I feel like you lose more games in the long run doing that. Like, it could be Maverick with like a slow hand. It could be just some random deck, right? I don't know. Maybe the fact it was just slow covered forest. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's tough to say. But I mean, this doesn't put us dead. This gives us a blocker. Oh wait, he can just Punishing Fire it. Does nothing. Yeah, next time he just Punishing Fires our blocker and we just lose. Yeah, that sounds just dead. Because he's going to Punishing Fire the blocker. Yeah, we'll just scoop there. Yeah, we wouldn't have drawn a breakthrough anyway. That was annoying, but I don't know. I called what could have happened there. It is what it is. Maybe in future when I see those sort of plays of Forest Pass, I'll just play around it. Because we could have played around it there. It would have been awkward, but there were ways we could have played around it. We could have possibly even just done nothing, discarded to hand size. That's often correct if you think they're on lands. And then we were unlucky game 3. They had Force green card. What did they even pitch with the Force Exploration? Life from the Land. Yeah, we're unlucky. They sided in Forces and they had an answer. I don't think siding in Forces against 2 white ley lines is correct, but hey, it won the game for him, so who am I to judge? I don't know. That was rough, but we took a potentially risky line and it didn't pay off. It happens. Round 2, we're on the play, and we'll keep this, even though it's awkward because we have 2 Narcomoebas in the graveyard. Okay, that resolves. So in order to play around Force Negation, you lead Careful Study and then crack for red when you are in these sort of situations. If I didn't have both a Careful Study and a Faithless Looting, I would probably actually just slow roll this just to not get blown out by Force of Negation. Just because when you're playing against Delver, if you just slow roll it, you still probably win there. Hopefully they are not a crop rotation deck. We don't just lose to a Bojuka Borg here, because that would really suck. If they are not, I think we are in a pretty good spot here. Don't do it. Scoop. So he didn't have crop rotation and he played Windswept Heath. Makes me think it's Maverick. The fact he scoops there makes me think that versus Maverick blind now, I'm often just sideboarding for ley lines, but I bring him 4 ley line answers rather than 5. Take out the Drebiter. I don't actually think Ashen White is a terrible card in the Maverick matchup, but when they have ley lines, I would rather have Putrid Imps. No, I would rather have leyline answers than I would Ashen Rider, so it's the slots that get cut if I think they've got leyline. In fact, I think I'll bring in the Careful Studies, because often about Maverick it's just about going under them. Something like this, I think, is probably correct. This seems pretty good. You could even bring in the second Lotus Petal. If I don't think they have ley lines, I'd probably bring in the second Lotus Petal, do not like this, but I bring in both Lotus Petals, take out the Putrid Imps. In fact, maybe I'll just do that. But the other good thing about Ashen Rider is it can steal you some games. Like, imagine they just go Scavenging Ooze on 2, and then normally you'd have no way to answer that. I mean, with Firestorm you had a way to answer that, but Ashen Wide is just a good clean way to answer Scavenging Ooze on turn 2. If they don't have a Mana Dork on 1, which is a thing that Maverick does. Stern Dismissal is also just an okay card against Maverick if they don't have Leyline. Yeah, this is a good hand, right? This is what you want, right? If they got Leyline, they don't have Leyline, so that's good. And it is Maverick. Okay. Oh, that's really good. So I'll just cast that. Discarding both Dredgers in case they have Scavenging Ooze. Playing out the Lion's Eye Diamond in case they have Thalia. And I'm feeling pretty comfortable right now. The only card that's really a problem here is Rest in Peace, though even then we can just bounce the Rest in Peace with a Stern Dismissal. Like, I don't know. This is probably like Knight of the Reliquary or something. Oh, what the hell? Alright, yeah, that's a card. Yeah, we're getting max punished for discarding both Dredgers there, wow. Absolutely punished for discarding both Dredgers. The thing about Ashiok is that it's really bad in that if we draw a Dredger here, we can just... I'm actually not going to do it this turn. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do it next turn. I'm just going to aim to just dump my entire deck into my graveyard in one turn. It's bad if we get Wastelanded here, but not terrible. Yeah. Hogak's already exiled, so the Krakos, while annoying, is not the end of the world. Yep. He's got Veil of Summer, he's got Veil of Summer. That's an amazing draw. Crack this for blue because we don't have a Faithless Looting and we've got no Ox, so we don't need the double red. If they've got Surgical here, they will have got us. But I'm not playing around them having Ashiok, Surgical, whatever. Like, that's not a thing I'm doing. They actually do have the Surgical? Okay. Alright. Cool. I guess. That is a thing you can have. I was hoping we drew a Dredger there. Because then we could use the Colosseum. I actually don't want to do anything here. I think we just lost. I think we are just losing the game here. Yeah, I don't think there was any way we were beating the... I don't think there was a single way we were beating Surgical plus Ashiok plus whatever. But we know that they don't have ley lines now because there's no way. I'm not going to scoop just yet because I want information. Why is Magic the Gathering Online being so laggy? I think I will have to restart it after this game. was quite happy for him to look through my deck there because I'm not really hiding anything. Everything's pretty much what you'd expect, and also I've sided for ley lines, so he doesn't even know what sideboard tech I will be bringing in game 3. And I'm quite happy to see all of the cards that he's got for me. Yeah. God, it's a complete stutter show. I'm actually going to restart MTGO. Alright, I've restarted MTGO. Hopefully this is less laggy now. Did I ever mention that game I lost to an Ashiok because I didn't count the number of cards in my deck? Yeah, this was in paper, not in online. I had exactly 4 cards left in my deck and they just Ashioked me and killed me. That was not my finest moment. I guess I just go for this here. Hopefully if we draw a Dredger we can try and do something. Okay, we do not. Play that, do that. I don't think there's a single card we can draw that does anything here. Okay, we did not draw it. Because there was no card that we could draw there. So these obviously come out. We know they got Ashiok, we know they got Surgical. Putrid Imps obviously at a premium when they've got Surgical. And Ox Vagonis is obviously good against Surgical as well. This is my sort of turbo go fast. We took out the Ashen Rider, but we're still going fast, and we've got Ox, and we've got playing around Surgicals and what have you. Siding in the Lotus Petal and the Ox is like a nice little just go fast, I don't really care about Ashen Rider type thing. Not that Ashen Rider's bad, but generally you're better off just having a Lotus Petal or having an Ox a lot of the time. This is not good. This is good. Quite happy with this on game 2 against Maverick. On the play against Maverick even. I'm quite happy with a hand like this on the play. Obviously this is not ideal against Surgical, but we're not exactly overextending into Surgical here. So, and then if he does Surgical as Breakthrough X is 1 followed by Breakthrough is a really good follow-up. If he has Wasteland and Surgical, obviously that's quite bad for us. Yeah. The pause on my upkeep makes me think he has Surgical. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Oh, that's really good. Yes, that's really good. I'm just going to go for it here. Like, I think when he knows our hand, this doesn't get any better. And, like, I mean, we could have kept the... Maybe it was better to keep the Lion's Eye Diamond there just because our chances of bricking are so high, and then we can follow up with the looting again next time. But, I mean, we still have 2 lands if we hit, like, Ox or something. Maybe that was close. I was just trying to high roll there, really. But obviously we brick because we've only got 8 dredges left in deck. Oh wait, he can't even cast Ashiok if he wanted to this turn. I was scared of them Ashioking me. Maybe it was better to slow roll that there. Or no, actually, it was probably just best just to keep the Lion's Eye Diamond. That was probably a mistake. Oh wait, no, he can actually cast Ashiok because that taps for blue. I forget that. Ashiok's like blue-black hybrid, isn't it? I keep thinking it's just black mana. But anyway. If he doesn't... So, we can say quite comfortably that he doesn't have Knight of the Reliquary because he would have just cast it. So what could his hand be? Green Sun Zenith maybe? But why wouldn't he just fetch Scavenging Ooze? Veil's fine. I'm just going to play the Thug and make a bunch of zombies. That seems the strongest play here. When you don't have an Archimever in play, it's often good to think about what you want to exile next turn. So the logical thing would be you want to put Putrid Imp on top of your deck, but actually that's probably the best food we have. So the best thing to put on top is probably actually just the Thug itself, so that we can return both. Yeah. We can return both Icarids, exiling the Putrid Imp and the Thug, and then Dredge. And then hit a Thug. Plague Engineer sucks, obviously, but not the end of the world. Okay, that's really good. Maybe we just swing with everything here. Swing all out. If he blocks with Hierarch and he's got a second Plague Engineer, that's bad. I mean, if he's got a second Plague Engineer, that's bad anyway, right? I don't know, I feel like this is too much damage to miss out on, so I think I'm just going to swing here. If he doesn't block with the Hierarch, I'm very happy. Okay, I'm still quite happy with this. And then we just cast a Thug. I mean, this seems pretty good for us, right? Next time we can even return all 3 Icarids if we really want to. Though Plague Engineer on Icarid kind of sucks, actually. Maybe it was better just to make like 12 zombies. I don't know. I feel like that was a good time to attack. Like, Night of the Reliquary, this gets really bad for us. Oh, so you have chosen death. Like, why has he done that? Now we just kill him through a plough. Right, okay, I'm just going to return all 3 Ichorids and kill you. Like, am I missing something here? I don't see how this isn't just lethal. Because he's on 6, right? Even if he's got a plough, he has to block 2 Ichorids, plough the other Ichorid, he just dies because he's on... Like, is there some card that I'm not thinking of here? Oh, I mean, you're still dead. You are dead. Why make even deader blocks? Even your best blocks, you still die. Why make bad blocks? Okay. Yeah, that's generally how it goes. Game 2 was a bit funny, and Game 3 was slightly funny because we got our Grave Troll Surgical, but like not like super duper funny. I think the main thing that we did wrong was not keeping the Lion's Eye Diamond off of the Breakthrough X is 1. Our chances of hitting running dredges, you'd have to hit running dredges 3 times in a row off of a thug, just a thug with only 8 dredges in deck is really bad, and in my opinion not worth the added benefit you get from taking the Lion's Eye Diamond, which is that you can also cast a Faithless Looting the next turn, which is, in my opinion, just better. So that was probably a slight punt, but I mean, we still won. So how much of a punt really is it? Round 3, we are on the play. I really dislike keeping hands where the best thing you do is turn on therapy yourself, but this one's a really good one because it's got 3 lands, it's got a breakthrough, and it's got a Cephalic Coliseum. I think I have to keep this. Like this hand's like, I think hands like this are traps. If this hand did not have both Cephalic Coliseum and Breakthrough, I think this is just like an instant mull. But the fact it's got both makes this hand like way more resilient. Like he's now got to be like, I've got to counter this Cabal therapy that's targeting himself. Like yeah, like, and then we just follow up with Breakthrough. Or if it doesn't get countered, we've got Cephalic Coliseum. Like this hand just seems really good. What is this, Doomsday? What is this? Doomsday? Death Shadow? Death Shadow? I think that's Death Shadow. I think that's what that means. Unless Doomsday plays Drown in the lock, which I'm not aware it does. Past turn is very much a Doomsday thing to do though, so... The reason I play out the Cephalic Coliseum here and not the Gemstone Mine is because it means that we, in this case I actually want to keep the Lion's Eye Diamond because I don't want to expose this Breakthrough to I don't want to expose the Breakthrough to a discard spell. The other reason is that if we brick on dredges, having the Lion's Eye Diamond here is actually way better than having the I think this might be Doomsday. Oh, no. Oh. Huh? Huh? Shadow? Dealt with Shadow? Okay. Alright. I mean, This is like Delver on easy mode. It's Delver without bolts that kills themselves. It's a good matchup for us in my opinion. I mean, I'm sure I'll manage to lose it somehow, but this is not a matchup I'm ever particularly worried about facing. I once at a tournament pre-London Mulligan almost beat them on a Malta 4 through pieces of Grave Hate. That's how like favoured this matchup is. I'm gonna name Daze here because I mean he must have had a pretty good hand if he kept it with no lands, so he probably has a Daze or something. Probably had like Force Daze, something like that. Force Daze Delver, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, there you go. And you just get to make him look silly. Everybody's favourite pastime against Delver players, making them look like idiots for playing a deck. I think they're big-brained. It's a big-brain, smart man deck, and you just get to take all the cards out of their hand. That's always a pretty good feeling. It's always pretty good. I mean, there's many ways to skin a cat at this point. I think just taking Death Shadow and Brainstorm is probably the best, and putting like a bajillion Grave Troll into play is probably the smartest way to do this. Brainstorm's obviously the scariest card, because it could represent anything, any card. Although I don't think there's any cards in their deck that'll win them the game at this point. Okay, he skips up at that. He's had enough. That's fine by me. Delver sideboarding is the same as versus Shadow. Shadow could hypothetically play Leyline, but they don't because they like losing to Dredge, I guess. Yeah, I don't know why they do that. But we just bring in Lotus Petal and Ox of Agonis, take out the Dread Return of the Ashen Rider. Not that that's bad in this matchup, really. I mean, having an Ashen Rider is alright, but we would definitely rather have a Lotus Petal to play around Daze than an Ox of Agonis to just be an Ox of Agonis. It's just a really good card versus any blue deck. Puts them in really awkward spots. Good against Surgical, good against Spell Pierce, good against Daze with Lion's Eye Diamond. This hand's good. This hand's actually really good. Obviously this is bad if we get discard spell turn 1, but I mean, what on earth is this Jeskai? No, not Jeskai, what is it? Sultai? I don't know. Ketria Delver, top deck in the format. So right now you need to think, well, if we're getting wastelanded here, what would we rather get wastelanded? We probably want to keep the Cephalic Colosseum, right? So I'm going to play out Careful Study. Okay, so that just straight resolved, which is concerning to me. Makes me think they probably have. I mean, they chose to not shuffle off Ponder, but it makes me think they have a Surgical Extraction or something. But with what we just top decked, our hand is very good against Surgical Extraction. I think our next turn play will be Putrid Imp and then Cabal Therapy them. Or maybe League Cabal Therapy. Chooses to not shuffle again. Like, what is his hand? I don't know. I'm not playing around it though. If this resolves, I'm naming Surgical, but I don't think this will resolve. This is very odd. I might almost certainly have a Surgical there. But then they have to be like, well, do I take the Icarid, or do I take the Bridge, or do I take the Hogak, because I lose to all of these cards? Well, I mean, I know he has a Force of Will now, unless he's trying to bait me into taking Force of Will. Like, I'll happily take that bait. The reason I know he has a Force of Will, for those that don't play on Magic the Gathering Online, is that he just lost 1 life, and that the only thing that does that really is Force of Will. I actually quite like just having a Putrid Imp here. I'm not going to do anything more here. He Bajuka Bogs me. That is a card he can have. That is definitely a card. Well, that's an awkward selection of cards to lose to a Bajuka Bog, to be honest. But still, I'm not too concerned. Given how things are going so far, I feel quite confident we still have Putrid Imp in play. Because if this gets Surgical, it sucks, but whatever. Whatever, if this gets Surgical. It's not Grave Troll, and we have a Putrid Imp. Okay, so we have Bajuka Bog and Surgical. I mean, that's fine, right? Given what we have in hand. Best draw here, Grave Troll, easily. Second best draw, Golgari Thug. Third best draw, I don't know, Lion's Eye Diamond, probably. Putrid Imp's pretty good too. I kind of like just playing out the Putrid Imp here. I don't want to. I want to break through X's 1, right? But I also want to have a Putrid Imp, right? Both of these things are good. So yeah, obviously this is bad against the discard spell because he knows what's in my hand. But at the same time, Putrid Imp is really good. I want a Putrid Imp. Is that the play? Is that really the play? I'm not sure that's the play, dude. I don't think that's the play. That's pretty good though. That's really good for us. So, I mean, the worst card he could have here for us is Spell Pierce, but I'm not playing around that card. That was really lucky. We very much lucked out there. Oh, we should have discarded. Ah, that was bad. We are bad players. We should have discarded the Ox of Agonis to the other Putrid Imp so we can swing him with both here, because right now we can only swing him with one, and that really sucks. and we only have ourselves to blame. I'm quite happy just leaving these two on blocks. If you have an Uro, you have outsmarted me. But yeah, putting them to 5 here is way better than putting them to 7. That was weak play by me. I really didn't think. But yeah, that was not very smart. Because he'd just be dead, right? He'd just be dead to flyers right now. If we hadn't mucked that up. Because we could just... no, wait, we couldn't fly in there. We couldn't fly in with everything. We could only fly in with... We could only put him to 1. But still, that's pretty good. Stops him cracking his fetch. Narcomoeba's a pretty good card. Wait, what am I doing? Oh wait, no. This is fine because we don't want to dredge every single dredge here anyway, because we don't know what cards left in deck. Dredge Thug. Dredge Troll, take a draw. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Oh wait, no, I should have done that. But it doesn't matter. It does not matter. I think we just win this game anyway. Nah, actually it was the exact same thing. It was the exact same thing. Doesn't matter. Does not matter one bit. If he has Team of Battle Rage, he's got me. If he has Pernicious Deed, he doesn't have me actually. Pernicious Deed's fine because we've got 2 Narcomoebas to block. Just gonna sack this. I like keeping the Narcomoebas up. And pass turn. Days shuffled away. So Toxic Deluge is now, but he can't actually cast that, and yeah, he concedes the game. So he Bojuka Bog does, and he Surgical does, and he still lost. It is just not a good matchup for Death Shadow. And yeah, pretty easy win, pretty standard. We made a few misplays maybe, but we still won because it's just so favourable for us. Like, their cards just match up so badly against everything we're doing. Of all of the Delver variants, which is already a good matchup, Death Shadow is easily the best matchup in my honest opinion. I think that demonstrates why it's just a really rough matchup for them. Versus Math Guy 31415. This is not a good hand. This is a very good hand. This is borderline the nuts. Oh, Tundra feels good. Feels good to see the Tundra. Oh god, this hand's bananas now. Wow. I mean, I wouldn't have done that if I was him. But in this case, that was the correct play. I feel like if you have Force of Negation, it's better just to hold it and hope to try and hit the Faithless Looting. And hope to blow you out that way. I think that's correct. But this looks like Snoko. Ponder not shuffle. Into Astrolabe. Sure. Discard Stingwing Imp. Spate any force on the Faithless Looting, but he looks like he's F6'd. Doesn't even let me therapy him, that's frustrating. But we have a fairly good idea what's going on. They pitched Oko to Force of Will, and they went Tundra Astrolabe, so this looks like Snoko. So Snoko sideboarding, these two can come out, these two can come in. That's pretty much what I'm doing right now. You could bring the pedal in, take out a breakthrough. Makes Oko slightly better, but makes overall the hand's a bit worse, I think. I don't really like this. I don't like this either. That first one was very close. I actually like this. Like this more than going to 4, basically. Like Force of Will. I'm not going to mess around though, I'm just going to therapy myself. Maybe he has Rest in Peace, maybe he's got Surgical. If he's Surgical's Thug, I'm not too concerned, honestly. It's like the worst Dredger. It's an annoyance, but whatever. I mean, we could have gone to 4, but like, unless we have the nuts for it, it's probably not better than this 5, right? So, just thought I'd keep this 5. Not going to mess around, just going to cast this. X is 1. What is this hand? Suspicious. Like, what does he actually have? I guess I'll name it Uro, because that'll get rid of my bridges. Okay, just scoops. I'm at a loss for words. Why did that man keep that hand? Why did he do that? Like, no counter spells, no grave hate, nothing? How do you think you're going to win a game against Dredge? Like, are you, I don't know, whatever. I'll take the win, I guess. Take the win, I guess. Alright, against Nathan Lepetz. He's often on Moonstompy. I've also seen him on other things. What's he been playing recently? Maybe the Echo deck? I mean, we're keeping this anyway, right? This hand's bananas. He's been playing Elves. He's been playing Blue Back. I almost don't want to just go bananas here. I almost don't want to go bananas here, just in case he is... I want to know what he's on, right? So... This beats... Even Moonstompy can't beat an opening like this if we just go... Even Chalice on 1's not especially good. I forgot to add Grave Hate. I think I lose match if you are on Dredge. I am on Dredge. I am almost always on dredge. No grave hate. Volcanic Island Ponder. To me, this is sneak and show. Right, what am I doing? I think the best thing to do is, yeah, there's no reason to do it the other way around, I don't think. It's better to do the looting first, because it protects around, well, one, it protects from days, but also you get to use the trolls to hope to dig for another troll. Increases your odds of dredging more, if you get me. Okay, so Volcanic Island Ponder, no grave hate. I mean, we could try and big brain it and leave the Ashen Rider in. I kind of like that because I kind of just have the read that he's on. That I'm just gonna do this. I think leave the rider in. Says he doesn't think he can win. I mean, a blue deck with forces can often steal a game, especially game 2. This is a very good hand though. What is this, Storm? Something unfair, that's for sure. Yeah, that would be an issue. Yeah, if he's playing Modern Storm with like Lotus Petals and stuff, yeah, he's not gonna stand much of a chance against Legacy Dredge. Though I do pass the turn here because I didn't hit a single Narcomoeba, though I did have one in my opening hand. So, I mean, 3, none in the top half of the deck. I mean, it happens, right? I mean, I could just be dead here. So, yeah, he sees what's coming. I'm gonna Ashen Rider his land and his creature. Kind of unfortunate last 2 games there, but I mean, you can see how Ashen Rider. I'll just give him a GG's. He's a content creator too. Gotta be polite to him. He's an alright player. He's beaten me in some impressive games before. He's a very good Moonstompy player, I will say that. Yeah, what were we threatening to do there? We would have brought back that. We have a Cabal Therapy. If we don't hit another 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so yeah, we'd have hit the Narcomoeba, so we'd have just swung him for 6. And then we just sacked all 3, Ashen Rider, exile Baral, sack Ashen Rider, exile land. That's just like not something that they can easily come back from when they miss the land drop. Last round, two very quick rounds, but I hope you can see how even the first round, I mean the first round we sort of, we acknowledged what was going to happen and we just sort of played into it, but like every single one of those matchups, you were like, you felt good to be playing Dredge right now, especially with the main deck Ashen Rider. I mean, what were the matchups with Dark Maverick, main deck Ashen Rider, definitely good. Zippu X, Death Shadow, main deck Ashen Rider not very good, but I mean, you could register a hand sandwich if it has the card Golgari Grave Troll in, and you probably still beat Death Shadow with this deck. Snowco, I think the guy didn't know what he was doing, but I mean that's a favourable matchup, and Modern Storm, that's just like the random stuff you get in leagues, but yeah, Ashen Rider showing up good there as well. Yeah, it was pretty solid stuff. Hope you guys enjoy the content. The Dark Maverick games were probably the most interesting of the games. All the others were kind of a bit of a stomp. Yeah, that happens sometimes though. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you want to see next. If there's any cool Dredge things you've seen, etc. You can do all of the YouTube algorithm stuff if that excites you in any way. All of your support's much appreciated, of course. I'm not the most regular content creator, or the most flamboyant. Oh yeah, last video I uploaded them all separately. I've had a bunch more RAM come, because part of the problem I was having before was I was trying to register, I was trying to render the video, and my program was crashing because I only had 16 gigs of RAM, and it was eating all of my RAM up. My processor was fine, my processor was okay, but my RAM was not okay. It was maxing out on RAM and crashing. So now I have more RAM. I've got 48 gigs of RAM now, so I'm going to try and render this into one video, and please let me know. I would really like to know if you prefer the format where it's all one long video, or if you prefer the format where it's lots of separate videos like I did last week. I can do either. It was a bit more effort to do all of the descriptions and the different pictures, and because I tried to do a custom thumbnail for each one, even if it's just like a different screenshot from the video. I had to put different text on it and stuff, which took a little bit of time. You got to upload it, you got to change them all. So hopefully, let me know which one you prefer. And if you prefer the other format, I can go back to that, or I'll stick with this. I think the algorithm seems to have preferred the longer videos, but I don't know. The algorithms work in mysterious ways. So I mean, I'm not like monetized or anything. So to me, it makes no difference whether it's in one video or in short videos. I just want to do what my fans are enjoying, you know. I hope you all enjoyed. This is definitely, I think, one of the strongest times to be playing Dredge right now. This feels so strong right now. This just feels like an excellent time to be registering Golgari Grave Troll in your decks. Yeah, it's just a really good time. You know, really good time. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. See you guys.